Random House Audio presents A Vintage Affair by Isabel Wolff. This is Violet Mathieson. Prologue. Blackheath, 1983. 17, 18, 19, 20! Coming! I yell, ready or not? I uncover my eyes and begin the search. I start downstairs, half expecting to find Emma huddled behind the sofa in the sitting room, or wrapped like a sweet in the crimson curtains, or crouched under the baby grand. I already think of her as my best friend, although we've only known each other 6 weeks. "You have a new classmate," Miss Gray had announced on the first day of term. She'd smiled at the girl in the two-stiff blazer standing next to her. "Her name is Emma Kitts, and her family have recently moved to London from South Africa." Then Miss Gray had led the newcomer to the desk next to mine. The girl was short for 9 and slightly plump, with large green eyes, a scattering of freckles and uneven bangs above shiny brown braids. "Will you look after Emma, Phoebe?" Miss Gray had asked. I'd nodded. Emma had flashed me a grateful smile. Now I cross the hall into the dining room and peer under the scratched mahogany table, but Emma's not there. Nor is she in the kitchen, with its old-fashioned cabinet stacked with mismatched blue and white plates. I would have asked her mother which way she'd gone, but Mrs. Kitts had just popped out to play tennis, leaving Emma and me on our own. I walk into the big, cool pantry and slide open a low cupboard that looks promisingly large, but contains only some old thermos flasks. Then I go down the step into the utility room, where the washing machine spasms in its final spin. I even lift the lid off the freezer in case Emma is lying among the frozen peas and ice cream. Now I return to the hall, which is oak-panelled and warm, smelling of dust and beeswax. To one side is a huge, ornately carved chair, a throne from Swaziland, Emma said. The wood so dark that it's black. I sit on it for a moment, wondering where precisely Swaziland is, and whether it has anything to do with Switzerland. Then my eyes stray to the hats on the wall opposite, a dozen or so, each hanging from a curving brass peg. There's an African headdress in a pink and blue fabric, and a Cossack hat that could be made of real fur. There's a Panama, a trilby, a turban, a top hat, a riding hat, a cap, a fez, 2 battered boaters, and an emerald green tweed hat with a pheasant feather stuck through it. I climb the staircase with its wide, shallow treads. At the top is a square landing with 4 doors leading off it. Emma's bedroom is the first on the left. I turn the handle, then hover in the doorway to see if I can hear stifled giggles or telltale breathing. I hear nothing, but then Emma's good at holding her breath. She can swim a width and a half underwater. I flip back her shiny blue duvet, but she's not in the bed, or under it. All I can see there is her secret box, in which I know she keeps her lucky Krugerrand and her diary. I open the big white painted corner cupboard with its safari stencils, but she's not in there either. Perhaps she's in the room next door. As I enter it, I realise, with an uncomfortable feeling, that this is her parents' room. I look for Emma under the wrought iron bed and behind the dressing table, the mirror of which is cracked in one corner. Then I open the wardrobe and catch a scent of orange peel and cloves, which makes me think of Christmas. As I stare at Mrs. Kitts' brightly printed summer dresses, imagining them under the African sun, I suddenly realise that I am not so much seeking as snooping. I retreat, feeling a vague sense of shame, and now I want to stop playing hide and seek. I want to play rummy or just watch TV. "Bet you can't find me, Phoebe! You'll never ever find me!" Sighing, I cross the landing and step into the bathroom, where I check behind the thick white plastic shower curtain and lift the lid of the hamper, which contains nothing but a faded-looking purple towel. Now I go to the window and part the semi-closed slats of the Venetian blind. As I peer down into the sun-filled garden, a tiny jolt runs the length of my spine. There's Emma, behind the huge plane tree at the end of the lawn. She thinks I can't see her, but I can because she's crouching down and one of her feet is sticking out. I dash down the stairs, through the kitchen and into the utility room. Then I fling open the back door. "Found you!" I shout as I run toward the tree. "Found you!" I repeat happily, surprised by my euphoria. "Okay," I say, panting. "My turn to hide." "Emma?" I peer at her. She's not crouching down, but lying down, on her left side, perfectly still, eyes closed. "Get up, will you, Em?" She doesn't reply. And now I notice that one leg is folded beneath her at an awkward angle. With a sudden thud in my ribcage, I understand. Emma was hiding not behind the tree, but in it. I glance up through its branches, glimpsing shreds of blue through the green. She was hiding in the tree, but then she fell. "Em," I murmur, stooping to touch her shoulder. I'm trembling now. I gently shake her, but she doesn't respond, and now I notice that her mouth is slightly agape, a thread of saliva glistening on her lower lip. "Emma!" I shout. "Wake up!" But she doesn't. I put my hand to her ribs but can't feel them rise and fall. "Say something," I plead, my heart pounding. "Please, Emma!" I try to lift her up, but I can't. I clap my hands by her ears. "Emma!" My throat is aching and tears prick my eyes. I glance back at the house, desperate for Emma's mother to come running over the grass, ready to make everything all right. But Mrs. Kitts is still not back from her tennis, which makes me angry because we're too young to have been left on our own. Resentment at Mrs. Kitts gives way to terror at the thought of what she's likely to say, that Emma's accident was my fault because it was my suggestion that we play hide and seek. From inside my head I hear Miss Gray asking me to look after Emma, then her disappointed tut-tutting. "Wake up, Em," I implore her. "Please." But she just lies there looking, crumpled, like a flung-down rag doll. I know I have to run and get help, but first I must cover her, as it's turning chilly. I pull off my cardigan and lay it across Emma's upper body, quickly smoothing it over her chest and tucking it under her shoulders. "I'll be back soon. Don't worry." I try not to cry. Suddenly Emma sits bolt upright, grinning like a lunatic, her eyes popping with mischievous delight. "Fooled you!" she sings, clapping her hands together, then throwing back her head in glee. "I really fooled you there, didn't I?" She scrambles to her feet. "You were worried, weren't you, Phoebes? Admit it. You thought I was dead. I held my breath for ages," she gasps as she brushes down her skirt. "I'm right out of puff." She blows out her cheeks and her bangs lift a little in the gust. Then she smiles at me. "Okay, Hebe Phoebe, your turn." She holds out my cardigan. "I'll start counting, up to 25, if you like. Here, Phoebes, take your cardie, will you?" Emma stares at me. "What's up?" My fists are balled by my sides. My face feels hot. "Don't ever do that again." Emma blinks with surprise. "It was only a joke." "It was a horrible one." Tears sting my eyes. "I'm sorry." "Don't ever do that again. If you do, I won't talk to you anymore. Not ever." "It was only a game," she protests. "You don't have to be all—" She throws up her hands. "Silly about it. I was only playing." She shrugs. "But I won't do it again, if it upsets you, honestly." I snatch my cardigan. "Promise," I glare at her. "You've got to promise." "Okay," she murmurs, then she takes a deep breath. "I, Emma Mandisa Kitts, promise that I won't play that trick on you, Phoebe Jane Swift, ever again. I promise." She repeats, then she makes an extravagant slashing gesture. "Cross my heart." Then with this funny little smile that I have remembered all these years, she adds, "And hope to die." Chapter 1.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?